Got a very special package back today. Look at that powder coating. Wait till you see all this on the car. This is, I mean, even the shifter handle is made that way. The grommets, the rings around the roll bars. Took the mirrors apart. Look at the Le Mans cap. It's just awesome. Got the side pipes done as well, and got all my interior aluminum pieces. Those go in the cockpit. Powder coated a matte black. Side pipes are powder coated gloss black. And then here's where I keep everything, in the dining room. Finish Line Technologies. Thank you, boys. Fantastic job. And there's the other half of the delivery. Finish Line Technologies. All my engine bay parts, including the F panel, which goes right there. The first thing we need to start building a car.
Okay, the absolute first thing you got to do to the chassis is put the front suspension on. You follow the manual, tells you how to do it. It's actually pretty simple. I'm gonna do it pretty quickly in this episode, which includes the upper lower control arms and the spindles that we cleaned up off the donor. So let's get to it. And here's the reason why I had to wait on my panels to come back from the powder coater. It's the very first thing you put on the car. The D panel. I don't know why they call it the D panel. It looks more like an F. It's actually called the F panel, and you can see I have it connected with one of my favorite tools, the Cleco. The Cleco tool is perfect for when you're not quite ready to rivet. You want to do the layout, which we're going to do next, and then we're going to drill the holes and we're going to rivet it in. Awesome little tool.
Pro tip, or semi-pro tip, get all your stuff out, lay it out, ready to go in the sequence that you're going to be putting it in. Upper control arms, shock set, and the lower control arms are in that box. Get it all laid out, ready to go, so you're ready to do the step-by-step procedure from the manual. And that's the first panel on the car. We'll do the other side now, and then we'll get to the front suspension. Okay, the lower control arms from Factory 5, the tubular control arms, which is what we're gonna install now. Nice little Factory 5. Pretty straightforward here. You got two sets of holes. So this back hole is for your 94 to 04 control arm, if we were using the one from the donor, which we're not. This is from your 87 93 control arm and the Factory 5 tubular arms. And don't think I'm really smart, remember that? I got the book right here. I'm looking at it. And that's really the only instructions you get for the tubular front control arms. You have to go online and pick up the instructions from there. But it is pretty simple. You can watch me do it. You'll notice it comes with some washers. That washer goes in the gap, in this front gap right here on the back bracket. Now we'll torque this for 100 foot-pounds. Next up on the front suspension is the upper control arm. Real quick tip, tighten up the side that goes near the closest to the F panel because you can't get to it. And then pretty much these things are idiot proof. They only go one way. What that is with the dessert fittings pointing up. So the first thing we're going to do is put that ball joint in that hole right there. Best way to do this is with a vise. First thing you're going to do is take your ball joint and take the cover off and put a little blue thread locker on it. Simple install in the car. You got these hex nuts, flange head, 1/2 inch 20, and then you gotta find 1/2 inch 20 mechanical locking nuts. And they go in the top holes here. The side holes are for the spindles that come with Factory 5 complete kit, a little bit different geometry. So we'll slap this sucker on there. Torque these to 85 foot-pounds. We'll go ahead and tighten these end pivot arm bolts up. Remember, we tightened this one up before we put it in there. You know, not super tight. We're going to get the geometry roughly close, so when we put it together, it'll be pretty close to alignment, but you're still going to need to get the car aligned. So this distance from center bolt to center bolt, from center bolt to zerk fitting should be 7 3/8. Which turns out to be about the maximum it can go in. Let's do the other side. The front side from the bolt to the zerk fitting is an 8.23, or as close as we can get with a tape measure is 8 1/4. All right, we'll tighten these up. Last piece for the upper control arm is to tighten these pivot bolts, all 3 of them. That's it for the front upper control arm. For the front coilover suspension, or the coilovers, you're going to find box 3, which will include your rears and your fronts. Your fronts are shorter, really simple. So we're going to assemble this coilover, Coney coilover shock, and mount it on the car. Don't lose brain cells over this. You guys like this. Voila. It's mounted on the car. Dig out your accessory pack for the umpteenth million time, dump everything out, and then you'll find the 1/2" 3 1/4" bolt. That's for the top, and these 0.6763" spacers, and then the 1/2" 2 3/4" bolt for the bottom, and these 0.4" spacers. That's what you need for hardware. Wrapping up the front suspension is going to be our spindle and our nicely refurbished. This is a cool part. When you put parts you've refurbished on the car, and the control arm goes toward the front. This is where obviously where the rack and pinion attach. There's a spacer that goes on here for the 04 spindle. It's in your packet. Torque to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, next up is the factory 5 spindle mounting bracket. It comes bare metal, so you're going to have to paint it, and you may have to open this up a little bit because I just had to. And you use your factory hardware from OEM hardware. This is torqued to 100 foot-pounds. And the last step is to connect it to the upper ball joint. $75 foot-pound.
And that's the front suspension installed. Pretty simple, pretty quick. It's pretty cool to get something on the frame, get it done. Next is the front brakes. Unfortunately, Jeg sent me the wrong rotors, so we got to get with them and figure out how to get those corrected. So the next thing we'll do is on the rear end.
We're documenting that it held today.
It's still coming off the roof.
Yeah, hailing in October.